Welcome back. So we laid down our base colors, and now we can give some depth to our art by layering midtones. Let's get it started. To begin, we're going to use PC989 chartreuse for the background. Because of the rich colors that have accumulated, we want to keep these tips sharp and press fairly hard. Go ahead and use what you've learned earlier with scribble shading. Once you've laid down some good color, go back in with PC915 lemon yellow to fill in any gaps. We're also blending some more to pull the green a little closer to the yellow. When that's done, switch back to the green and keep working on your background. We'll be going back and forth as we work to make sure our blending mixes nicely. Follow the direction of the textures you see in your reference. Make sure to ignore the bird and tree branches for now. Because these are wax-based colored pencils, the more wax you have on your paper, the more they will blend together. A useful tip as you color: squint and compare your artwork with the reference. This keeps your eye from getting hung up on the details while still allowing you to recognize different colors. Once we've used the midtone on the entirety of the background, we can go in and get the green feathers. So right up here, you have some feathers. Follow the direction of the texture in your reference and do some hatching. As you remember from level 1, hatching is a technique where you use close, parallel lines to shade. You want some of the yellow to shine through for the highlights, so don't go too tight with your markings. And we'll put a little green here where the middle feathers are. We're going to try something new on the bird's head. We're going to use the base color from earlier, PC1040 Electric Blue. But now we're going to lay it in like a midtone. See how the head has hatch detail in your reference? Earlier, we went light, but now we're going to go in a bit darker with some hatch marks right here. We want to form the shape of the feathers with our hatch lines. Press in a little bit harder than last time and move in the direction of the feathers with quick, short lines. And wherever you see white in your reference, make sure to leave that area lightly colored for now. Make sure to keep sharpening so the lines all stay the same width. Get any area you may have missed. Now we'll use PC938, or white, to blend in the head. If you go over where the white area meets the blue, it'll blend those colors together nicely. And now we're going to use PC1052 Warm Gray 30%. We'll start with the beak using hatch lines again. Leave the top area of the beak a little white for blending later on. And carry it over to underneath the beak. Notice the black in the reference. Color that area as well. This will make it a much richer black when we layer it on. Now, let's get the gray feathers. Lightly shade these areas. Not too much pressure, though. At the top of this area, you can go a little bit darker. Move up to this batch of feathers as well. Take your time with it. Don't worry about it matching the final piece yet. We're just building colors. All right, now let's move to the talons, starting with pressure on the darkest part and easing off on the lightest. And let's end at the tail feathers. Go lightly where you see the highlights and harder where you see the shadows of the feather. Now, we can go back to our white and blend our work. Start with the middle feather and blend the white in with the gray. You'll notice that those areas that appeared darker are now lighter. That's the white color really doing its work. So let's take a moment to learn how to use blending to create feathers. You'll notice we have another scrap sheet of paper with a square drawn in. We'll want to work in this square. We begin with our base PC915 lemon yellow. Even though our feathers here will be green and orange, we want to use yellow as our lightest layer so we can build depth on top of it. Use scribble shading to fill in the right area of the square, like so. Then we'll add some more over here to the left for some orange feathers. Leave a section at the top left corner empty. If you check your color wheel, you know that when you mix red and yellow, you get orange. And when you mix blue and yellow, you get green. In our white area at the corner, we'll use base color PC1040 electric blue. Use it very lightly though, as it is a base. Now to add feather texture with PC989 chartreuse. Start in the rightmost yellow area and put some hatch marks down. Lay the hatch marks in the direction of the feather's texture. So most feathers have a curved texture to them. you want to use curved hatch marks. Same goes for PC918, orange. Go to the leftmost yellow area and put your hatch marks in the direction of the feather's texture. Get both the top and bottom of this area and create a little depth with those marks. We'll use PC1040 electric blue again, but go a little darker with our pressure. It's going to be its own midtone. The feathers here are more angled than curved, so lay down our hatch marks at a pointed angle, like so. There are many techniques for feathers, but these will be some of the most common. Now, to get a darker tone with PC912 apple green. We're not strictly retracing everything, but we want to isolate where the darkest shadows of the feather would be. Lay down some new hatch marks in the rightmost area. For the shadows of the orange feathers, we'll use PC923 Scarlet Lake. Get the darkest areas with hatch marks. Switch to PC901 Indigo Blue for the shadows in the blue feathers. Again, hatch marks for the deepest shadows. Checking the reference again, you see some blue in the green feathers. So let's go ahead and use this color here. And when finished, you should have some feathers that look natural, like this. And back to our bird, let's darken some colors with PC1052 Warm Gray 30%. You'll want to go back and forth between that color and white to blend. It really helps you get nice transitions. Now, let's use PC938 white on the feet. The nice thing is, we have some blue in there, so it'll really start shining through. Once we have that, we'll go back in with our gray wherever you see dark areas in the feet. Go back and forth as needed throughout the talons. Now we'll move on to the tail and blend that in with white. Again, switch back and forth with the gray. The tail feather and talons had some blue in them. We're going to go liven them up some more with PC1040 Electric Blue. Now, let's add in some midtones to the breast. Starting with PC918, orange. Also, keep PC915, lemon yellow, handy. Starting here, use hatch marks again. Leave some yellow peeking through. Where it's darker, press harder. Remember to check your reference. In the areas that are really red, you can switch from hatching to scribble shading to get deeper color there. So right about here is where the feathers change color. Make sure to leave this area fairly yellow. We're just adding some light marks for detail. Come back in with PC915 Lemon Yellow. This should blend the orange and yellow together very nicely. It's going to lighten up the color, which is fine in this part. If you get too light anywhere, you can always add more orange. For instance, here, our artist wants to go a little bit darker. In some areas, you won't want to blend so much because you'll want the texture of the lines to show through. The lines of these feathers, for example. And as always, squint and compare against the reference to sort of see where the colors go. Our final segment of midtones will be in the tree. Starting with PC941, Light Umber, begin to hatch in some long lines to mimic the grain of the tree. Add the little hole in the wood here, and vary your pressure depending on how dark the lines are. Always start light and then go darker. Now, let's go down to the lower branch and do the same thing. Once we've added some texture to the wood, we'll move on to PC944, Terracotta. This will add some warmth to the tree. Just go over a little lightly. And then we can go back in with PC915 Lemon Yellow to do a little blending. And switching back to PC941 Light Umber to reinforce those darker lines. Add some warm tones to the bottom branch with PC944 Terracotta. And that's it for our midtones. You're on a roll right now. Take take a moment to reflect on what you've learned, and when you're ready, join us in the next lesson where this bird will really take flight.